I'm 28 years old, and I have exactly 412 yen in my pocket. That is the price of my dignity. It's enough for a one-way train ticket to the Uji River, or 3 days of cup ramen. Tonight, looking at the stack of unpaid utility bills on my floor, I chose the ramen. They call us the working poor, but that's too poetic a term for it. I'm a ghost. I'm a biological extension of a keyboard in a windowless office in Kyoto. If I died at my desk tonight, they wouldn't call my family first, they'd call the temp agency to see if my replacement could start by 9 a.m. This is my life. And if you've ever felt like you're running a race on a treadmill that's slowly speeding up, you might understand why I'm telling you this. The alarm clock in my apartment in Muko doesn't just wake me up, it reminds me that I failed to escape in my sleep. Muko is on the ragged outskirts of Kyoto. It's the side of the city the tourists never see. There are no golden temples here, no geishas walking on wooden sandals. There is only the hum of the highway and the smell of damp concrete. My apartment is a one-room box, a tiny kitchen and a bathroom so small I have to bruise my knees just to sit on the toilet. I dress in the dark. My suit is a thrift store find. The sleeves are a half inch too short, exposing my wrists like a boy who outgrew his clothes but couldn't afford a man's life. I grew up in a house where we learned to eat silence for dinner. My parents didn't leave me a legacy, they left me the habit of apologizing for taking up space. I walk to the station in the rain. Every morning, it's the same 45-minute ritual on the Hankyu line. I stand near the door, my forehead pressed against the glass. I watch the world turn from the charcoal gray of the suburbs to the dusty gold of the city center. I am surrounded by hundreds of other dark suits. We are a forest of moving shadows. No one looks up to look up. It's to acknowledge the exhaustion in the eyes of the person next to you. And none of us have the strength to carry anyone else's luggage. My office is a concrete tomb near Kyoto Station. The sign says Logistics Data Solutions, but it's really just a factory for human boredom. I'm employee 402. My manager is a man who hasn't smiled since the late 90s. He walks the aisles like a prison guard, his footsteps muffled by the cheap carpet. He doesn't need to yell. The way he sighs when he looks at the back of my head is enough. It's a sound that says you are still here and you are still nothing. My job is the definition of a meaningless job. I take stacks of handwritten shipping manifests, paper that is yellowed and brittle, and I type them into a database. Item, galvanized pipes, quantity, 2000. Destination, Kobe date, March 12, 1996. Click, enter, repeat. I'm a human bridge between a world that is dead and a digital world that doesn't care. By 2 p.m., the blue light of the monitor begins to eat away at my brain. My vision blurs. My lower back sends sharp electric jolts of pain up my spine. I haven't had a real lunch in 3 years. I drink office water. It tastes like copper and disappointment, but it fills the hole in my stomach for an hour. I sit there grinding my life into digital dust. And I wonder, is this the peak? Is this what 28 was supposed to feel like? When I get home at 9:30 p.m., the silence of my room is heavy. It's the kind of silence that rings in your ears. I don't turn on the lights. I don't want to see the stack of envelopes by the door. I just want to disappear. I turn on my laptop. The blue light is my only friend. I don't watch the popular anime, the ones with the shouting heroes and the bright colors. I seek out the tragedies. I watch the slow healing shows that focus on the beauty of sadness. Shows where it rains for 20 minutes straight, or where a character sits by a window and just watches the world fade away. People ask why I do this to myself. They say, Sato, your life is already sad. Why watch something depressing? They don't understand. These shows are the only places where my pain is treated as something beautiful. On the screen, a lonely man in a rainy city is a protagonist. He is poetic. He is intentional. In my real life, I'm just a guy who can't afford his electricity bill. For 24 minutes, the anime gives my struggle a soundtrack. It makes my exhaustion feel like a story worth telling. I sit there, whisking a bowl of cheap supermarket-grade green tea. The steam hits my face, and for a moment, the monitor's glow looks like a sunset. But every few weeks, when I've managed to save a few coins by walking to work instead of taking the bus, I go to Uji. Uji is the only place where I feel like a human being. It's the city of tea, the city of ancient stories. As soon as I step off the train, the air changes. It's not the smell of gasoline and burnt oil. It's the scent of roasting tea leaves drifting from the wooden shops. It's the smell of 1,000 years of peace. I don't go to the big temples. I can't afford the entrance fees. Instead, I walk to the Uji River. I cross the Vermilion Bridge and find a spot hidden by weeping willows. I pull out a small wooden box. Inside is my only luxury, a tin of ceremonial-grade matcha. I bought it by skipping 5 dinners. It is the most expensive thing I own that isn't made of plastic. I prepare it with trembling hands. I use a bamboo whisk, moving it in the rhythmic shape my grandmother taught me. The tea transforms into a thick, electric green foam. It is the only vibrant thing in my world. I take the first sip. It is bitter, bitter as the life I lead. But then the richness hits. It's deep, savory, and lingering. It's a taste that says, you're still alive, you're still capable of feeling something wonderful. I sit there for an hour watching the river rush by. The water is cold and clear. It doesn't care about my data entry. It doesn't care that I am employee 402. It has been flowing since before the samurai, and it will be flowing long after my office building is torn down. In UG, I'm not a salaryman, I'm a witness to the world. This is my silver lining. It's a thin, fragile thread of green in a world of grey, but it's enough to keep me from jumping onto the tracks. The sun starts to dip behind the mountains, and the light turns into a bruised, beautiful purple, just like the anime I love. I pack my kit. I feel the peace begin to leak out of me, replaced by the familiar coldness of the upcoming Monday. I walk back to the station. I see the tourists buying expensive souvenirs, and I feel a pang of bitterness. They get to visit my peace. I have to survive it. I board the train. The 45-minute journey back to Muko feels longer at night. I lean my head against the window. The reflection staring back at me looks a little less like a ghost tonight. The tea is still warm in my stomach. I am 28. I'm poor. I'm tired. I'm struggling. But tomorrow when the alarm screams at 6 a.m., I will get up. I will put on the thrift store suit. I will apologize for taking up space, and I will type the numbers into the machine. I will do it because I know that in 2 weeks I will taste the green again. I will do it because the stories I watch tell me that even in a tragic world there is a certain kind of dignity in just continuing to exist. The grind is endless. The hustle is a lie, but the tea is real, and for now that has to be enough.